For more on the impact of this federal funding pause, I want to bring in Rob Bonta, the Attorney General for the state of California, and Ellie Hollander, the CEO of Meals on Wheels America. That is a nonprofit organization providing meals to vulnerable seniors across the country. Thank you both so much for joining Top Story tonight. Attorney General Bonta, I want to start with you on this because you are co-leading with New York a lawsuit that has been filed to block this OMB directive that would freeze up to $3 trillion in federal funding. You are one of 23 state attorney generals who have filed this. In part, I understand your lawsuit is arguing that this decision violates the United States Constitution, specifically because of the Administrative Procedure Act. Explain to us what that means, because I think a lot of people know, okay, Congress is supposed to control the purse, but what exactly are you saying is unconstitutional here?
Well, thanks for having me. First, I'll say that this Office of Management and Budget order yesterday was dangerous and reckless. It was confusing and chaotic, and it was unconstitutional and unlawful. And we took Mr. Trump and his administration to court immediately within hours because it was unlawful, and he was reaching far outside his existing jurisdiction. We brought two essential causes of action. One, that the Office of Management and Budget memo is unconstitutional in that it violates the separation of powers. What you just referenced, that Congress, not the executive branch, not the president, has the power of the purse, the power to spend, the power to appropriate, and decisions have been made. Budget bills have been signed into law, not vetoed, and decisions made about appropriations. The president, with one stroke of the pen, cannot stop that. He had an inauguration, not a coronation. He is a president, not a king. He has lots of authority, but it's not unlimited. And we also brought a separate cause of action under federal law, the Administrative Procedures Act, which sets forth the authority and the process for making certain decisions. And we separately and independent from the constitutional violation that we claim in the complaint also allege that he violated the Administrative Procedures Act. So two separate causes of action.
So what do you say to people who say, look, this is what the American people voted for? They wanted to see Donald Trump make dramatic changes, particularly as it relates to federal funding and office management, budgeting, things of that nature, and say, okay, this is what we wanted him to do. And furthermore, on the idea of he has power, but ultimately Congress has the power to deal with budgeting. If he were to say, okay, I didn't do this right the first way, let me go back to Congress and ask them to delegate this authority to OMB to say they could just pause all of this federal funding, could we see the Republican-controlled Congress just essentially say, okay, now OMB does have this authority?
So first I'll say Mr. Trump was definitely elected president. More people in the popular vote voted for someone besides him than for him. He doesn't have a broad sweeping mandate. He was elected, and he can do things within his existing jurisdiction. He can't do things that the Constitution prohibits. The presidential action will always yield to the U.S. Constitution. The U.S. Constitution is foundational and defining in terms of what presidents can do or not do. So there's no vote that has been taken to increase presidential authority, no constitutional amendment that's been passed. There's a way and a process to do things in our constitutional democracy with separation of powers, checks and balances, federal and state authority, and the way to make different appropriations decisions and spending decisions, power of the purse decisions, is to go through Congress. So if he wants to go through Congress and he can get the votes, that might be a way that he can make changes in the spending and appropriations arena, but not by one stroke of the pen by the Office of Management and Budget at the end of a day that goes into effect within hours, ending trillions of dollars of critical, essential funding to Americans.
All right, Attorney General Bonta, stay with us because I want to come back to you. But Ellie, let me bring you in here for a bit because, as we mentioned, your organization is responsible for delivering many, many meals to seniors all across the United States. A White House spokesperson saying that funding for Meals on Wheels should be fine, even though it doesn't fall under the umbrella of funding distributed directly to Americans. Does that reassure you? Have you been given any additional clarity as to what is going on here and what it means for seniors who rely on Meals on Wheels?
Ellison, you pointed it out very well. There is a lot of confusion because we are listed, the Older Americans Act, the Older Americans Act Nutrition Program, under which Meals on Wheels is funded through the federal government is listed on the OMB spreadsheet that identifies those grant programs that are reportedly being frozen, although we understand that a judge has lifted that temporarily, and we're very pleased about that. I don't think people really understand where Meals on Wheels federal funding comes from. This may give us an opportunity to educate more, but we are on that list. And as you said, yeah, the funding goes through the states, which then ultimately gets down to a Meals on Wheels provider who then provides that service to a senior in need. But it's not, there's no direct cash to that person. It's not considered a direct federal assistance program like Social Security or Medicare would be. So we're concerned. It's confusing. And what we're concerned about is that nobody really seems to have the answer, and we don't know to whom to go to help clarify.
So what does that mean for you in a practical sense right now in terms of how your organization is able to operate without understanding what is happening? And in terms of a potential loss of funding to Meals on Wheels, break that down for people. What would that look like on a local level if that were to go into effect?
Well, the first thing I need to say is that Meals on Wheels providers are frontline. They are first responders. They're there for pandemic, for fires, for hurricanes. They will do everything in their power to leave no senior behind. But the fact of the matter is even before the OMB memo came out, we have been experiencing growing waiting lists across our country where 1 out of 3 programs have seniors on wait lists for meals and social connection, on average 3 months and some as long as 2 years, because the funding has never kept pace with the need, the growth in the senior population, or inflation. So I get back to your original question, which is already our programs are struggling. Private philanthropy only contributes 1% of total funding to programs like Meals on Wheels. So it is a public-private partnership. And that 37% of the aggregate funding that comes through the Older Americans Act is really critically important for our programs to be able to seek additional funding to serve seniors in need. And as I said, there are already seniors who are not getting services and a lifeline who desperately need it.
And Attorney General Bonta, back to you before we go here. Talk to us about the practical impacts this has had and or could have on your state, a state that, as many people know, is still recovering from those devastating wildfires. I was on the ground for that. I mean, the scope of the destruction is massive. And for you, what is your message to this administration and this president?
The impacts of this memo on California are massive and devastating. We were in communications with the governor's office today. We estimated about $130 billion in federal funding put at risk just this year if this temporary pause was left in place for the remainder of the year. Services to our most vulnerable, to our seniors, to our children, to our sick, to our poor, health care for children, health care for the poor, housing for the poor, food assistance for children, preschool and college grants, FEMA disaster funding for the LA wildfires, multi-billions of dollars needed yesterday. People are desperate for the funding from the federal administration, and it has not come, and this puts it in jeopardy. So this is billions of dollars of critical, essential funding that has all been put at risk by one memo that was written in an act that was unconstitutional and clearly unlawful and was appropriately restrained today by a federal court.
All right. We will stay in touch with both of you. California Attorney General Rob Bonta, CEO of Meals on Wheels America, Ellie Hollander. Thank you both so much for your time.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.